get going on the next part of the show, which is the real introduction that we need. Excellent. Way rock and roll. Right, we can get going now. Now they're here. Welcome to John Cross. Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
And welcome to John Watkinson.
Thank you.
And it's a bit cold out there tonight, as they say, Wigan.
Aye, it is a cowden.
Aye, it is that.
Wasn't it?
And he's from Liverpool then.
All right, Bill, lad, you're great, all right, you know what I mean?
I moved to Chorley.
Yeah, moved to Chorley, I know. They can't, you know, some people just like need to be made to suffer.
Definitely.
Right, so
I'm missing Stormdish though.
Stormdish,
yes, I'm missing Stormdish.
Yes, it's all the good people come from Stormdish.
Yeah, Stormdish. And we're looking forward to a little chat with you tonight because I've been announcing to the boys and girls out there that we're going to have a little chat, obviously about yourselves, but about what you can remember about the room at the top.
Now then, yeah.
You reckon you can handle
I used to go
that?
there every weekend.
Really?
And then we used to go off to the to Southport,
Really?
to the Floral Hall as was.
So how did that work out? You went up to the room at the top?
Went to the room at the top.
What time would that be?
We'd meet up about 6:30.
Yeah.
There'd be about 20 or 30 of us. Then we walk down to the station, catch the train to Southport, and we go to the Floral Hall. And there we watched Cream,
Really?
the Kinks,
Yeah.
all the top bands, because they used to play The Who.
Yeah.
They used to play there, and then we catch the last train back.
Oh, what a night out that is.
Yeah,
That would be a Saturday night, I take it. Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I'm being slightly older than him. I was playing there at the time.
Oh, right. You were playing at
I
the
was
floor
in the band,
or the room at the top.
in a band called The Subject, which we
Right.
formed at school.
Yeah.
And then we carried on for a couple of years afterwards.
Right.
So we used to play at the room at the top.
I want to kind of remember as much about it as I can, and that and what we understand the kind of concept of it. It was aimed at rhythm and blues music, wasn't it, rather than pop music?
No,
Am I wrong?
soul.
It was deeper than rhythm and blues.
It was like at the time of Geno Washington and the Ram Jam Band,
Right.
because I had the album
Yeah.
and I took it up there, and the girls were like, "Wow," because we were all dancing all night.
Yeah.
The all-nighters.
I was trying to explain to people before about how it kind of wasn't pop music, but what I call it was rhythm and blues.
They
But-
did have rhythm and blues, because I remember going watching a band called The Wheels,
Oh, definitely.
and they were R&B.
And everybody did Gloria.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it went on to soul. But then that's when the drugs started coming in, and
Oh, right.
because there used to be the Market Square. Do you remember?
Market Square bus station.
And they used to meet up on the Market Square, get the pills off the guys from Manchester.
Give over.
Yeah.
I never knew anything about
Oh
this.
yeah. No.
Tell us more.
And half the time they weren't even pills. They were just sugar.
Ah.
You know.
Yeah.
But they thought it was the thing, and we all used to wear immaculate suits because we were
did.
mods.
We did.
Celluloid collars
Yeah.
with the ties.
I know.
Her with a parted shaved in. All that gear. It was fantastic time.
fantastic.
So it never come back.
Would you call yourself as mods?
Mm.
Yeah. You
Definitely.
were being mods,
Yeah,
weren't you?
definitely. I was a mod as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to have BOAC bags. They
Yeah.
had to be a BOAC bag where you put your gear in.
With a strap on,
Yeah, yeah.
on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I remember one night borrowing my father's shirt because my shirt wasn't clean. So my mum said, "You can use your dad's shirt." So I had my shirt on, my suit, my tie, as I went out.
Yeah.
And then the trouble started, and all of a sudden this lad got hold of me and just ripped the front of my shirt off. So all I had was the collar and the sleeves, and the shirt was just gone altogether. So what I did, I just fastened my jacket like that and carried on for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Then when I got home, my mum went mad.
I bet she did.
When I saw
Bill, what was-
my dad's shirt.
What was the name of the guy that had room at the top? It was Ken somebody. He was a
Yeah,
wrestler.
I've got some information here.
I
for
can
all
see
of
him
us.
now with curly hair.
Yeah, beard.
That,
Big fella.
Yeah.
He was a wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
He
yeah.
was.
And he made his living at wrestling, the man did. And I've made some notes that I downloaded quite some time ago from the Lanky Beat website. And I'm responsible for putting this stuff on Lanky Beat website.
That's it, Fluff.
Ken Baldwin.
And so, without further ado, what I'm going to do first of all, I know Mitch is listening tonight, and he's sent in a CD, he's made a special CD about Room at the Top.
Right.
Yeah, and what we're going to do, it's 11 minutes long, so what we're going to do, we're going to play that with a bit of luck and see what he has to say about Room at the Top. And it's not kind of working in. That's it. Yep. Isn't it amazing that none of these things will work for you?
Room at the Top,
Here we
big
go.
club, opened in Wigan on the 1st of October 1964. It was opened by a wrestler, Ken Baldwin, big imposing guy, and its situation was a masterstroke for him because it was literally across the road from the town's bus station. So you could come in from anywhere around Wigan and district, get off the bus and walk across and you were there. And I went probably January 1965. I lived in Beach Hill, and I remember walking down Gidler Lane to the bottom, turn left up Park Road, down to the gas showrooms, turn left across the Market Square, and I could see the tail end of the queue going up the stairs. So I joined the queue, and I got about halfway up the stairs, and the support group were bringing the ramps up, so we all had to go over to the right hand side of the stairs while they took these amplifiers up and drum kits and stuff. Now, those amplifiers had 3 handles on for a good reason, because they were heavy. If somebody had slipped from the top of them stairs and one of those amps had come down, they'd have killed somebody. Also, the only fire escape in the place was at the back of the stage upstairs. So if you happened to be in the snack bar downstairs and it caught fire, you were in deep trouble, you know. I don't think it would ever have opened these days. They wouldn't have allowed it, but it didn't seem to bother us, you know. But the first group that I saw on there, and I'd never seen them before, were Julian and the Trolls. And I was very, very impressed. Great bass player in Barry Hammond. Still playing Barry, still playing with my mate Mick. Ray Hill, who was the lead guitarist, had a beautiful Gretsch guitar, a little tiny red one, double cutaway, and I've always wanted one and I never managed to get one. And then they were fronted by a guy called Wince, big tall guy with long hair, great singer. And they did a lot of Kink stuff off the first album. And it sounded a bit like this. Well, the Trolls were top of the bill, but second on the bill was a group called the Friends, that's spelled F-R-E-N-Z. And I recognised 2 of the guys from the Senators who had booked at school dances and that. And they were a great early rock and roll band. There were no finesse with them, but they couldn't half make a big noise. So I went up to Phil after, he was the drummer who I knew, and I said, it's a great little band that, Phil, like I really enjoyed it. Like, he said, oh, well, he said, we need an harmonica though, so if you know anybody that plays one, if you'd let us know. So I said, I play harmonica. He said, do you? I said, yeah, play harmonica, play guitar as well, you know. said, all right, just hang on, I'll have a chat with the lads. He said, do you fancy coming for an audition on Wednesday? I said, yeah, fine, belting. I said, I'll bring my guitar. I said, I don't drive, I'll have to come up buzz. I'll bring my guitar. And the guitarist, Alan Dwyer, said, oh, you can stick in my amp while we practice. So that was it. I was all arranged for Wednesday. The problem was I couldn't play an harmonica. I just blagged it, you know. So I went to Chamberlain's music store in Standishgate, and there was a lovely lady there. I think her name was Mrs. Kearns, and she said, "Ready to order, sir?" You know, one of those. And I said, "Yeah, I'd like a harmonica, please." He said, "Yeah, chromatic or diatonic." I said, "A mouth organ, please." She said, yeah, do you want a chromatic one or a diatonic one? I said, I don't know. And this guy stepped in and helped me. He was older. He said, what sort of music are you playing, lad? I said, well, it'll be blues stuff, I think. Like, I've not joined the group yet. He said, buy a diatonic one in D so you can play in the key of A. I thought, I wish I'd never started with this. It's going over my head, this. How can it be so complicated to play a mouth organ? My granddad could play a mouth organ. Anyway, I bought one in the key of D. I practiced at home, went up to the rehearsal, played a bit of guitar with them. They liked me, I think, and I played at Room at the Top with the guys 3 weeks later, and this is one of the songs that we did.
I'm on my own, just wanna roll. I tell you, man, don't wanna hold. I want around.
But the standard of groups that played at Room at the Top was way, way, way above what I experienced at youth clubs and school dances. They had some fantastic talent. Listen to this, Oggy and the Membranes. What a frontman Oggy, but he could sing anything. The Olympics, who were purveyors of Bo Diddley, and they did it very, very well. Great rhythm and blues band. The Minks, who were Wigan's Rolling Stones. The Atlantics, I think from Chorley, they were a good band. The Atlanta Roots, they were a bit special. They were most of these people were blues bands. Lincoln Bond. The Vaqueros, though, they weren't. They were a very much a beat group with Lally Stott and Gary Roberts. And when they folded, Lally went with Dennis Sayton Show Group from Liverpool. There was the Pact and the Subject and the Saxons, remember those, and Cimarrons. There was a great band from Salford called The Outrage, and they had a frontman called Rod Gerrard, who went on to form the Salford Jets, who should have been massive, but sadly they weren't. But he carried on and had a good life in the business. He joined Wayne Fontana and then replaced Peter Noon in Homer's Hermit, so he didn't do so bad, the lad from Room at the Top. Oh, there were some great ones, the Concords and the Pressmen from Lee with the wonderful Bernard Southern, you know, 5 by 5. And from Southport, Rhythm and Blues Incorporated, who did a great version of Louie Lewine, which I'll have to dig out at some other time. Yeah, it was wonderful. But one of my favourite bands was the Hurgs. They came from Haydock, and they were very much like the Animals, but they had a fantastic harmonica player, and they could play Countryland Special by Cyril Davis. Fantastic. This is it. Another brilliant group were the Rats, which came from the ashes of the Beat Boys, with Alan Parkinson on harmonica and vocals, Malk Grundy on guitar, and Malk was tremendous. Eric Clapton said he was one of the finest guitarists this country's ever produced. They were wonderful. They did a couple of singles. This is one, it's called Parchment Farm.
Sitting over here on Parchment Farm. I'm sitting over here on Parchment Farm.
But you can't finish a history of Room at the Top's early days without mentioning the Wheels from Belfast, who were stunning, the loudest band I've ever heard. I'm not going to play Gloria, which everybody would expect, because, well, I think this one's better. This one's called Mona. Sadly, things were due to change probably the end part of 1966. A big change. The kids weren't dancing to the groups anymore, they were dancing to the records. The DJs had always played records. I think it was the same DJ that they had at Twisted Wheel, and they were playing loads of soul stuff. So this was the origins of Northern Soul, which took off in Wigan, not in the casino like everybody thinks. I think Diana will agree with me on that one. But at Twisted Wheel and Room at the Top. But to be honest, I heard some fantastic music from there, but it did kill the bands off there. The bands went elsewhere, they didn't finish, you know. But this is the first Northern Soul one that I can remember as I walking up the stairs at Room at the Top, and I thought, what is this? This is Sugar Pie de Santo with Soulful Dress, and that's the end of my little bit. So I'm going to have 2 tramadol and a little hot chocolate, and then go bobos. All right, bye-bye.
Wow, Mitch, we'd love listening to that. What a fantastic little... what do you call it? A little cameo? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. I'm floundering for words because we were just enthralled by the extent of your knowledge, Mitch.
Yeah, it took us right back in time.
Fantastic, that, Mitch.
Yeah. What did you think, John?
Well, the first time I met Mitch
Yeah.
was he had a guitar, and it was called a Framus. And Mitch was like a bit of a hero in Wigan, as far as a guitarist.
Yep.
And he had this Framus guitar. He lived at Beach Hill then, I think. And he showed me this guitar, and I thought, oh, this is what I want to do. Look at that guitar.
Yeah.
I bet he still got it.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
He's got more guitars than I have, Mitch.
Yeah. What were your thoughts after listening to that then?
Yeah, it
John
just
Cross?
takes you right back, doesn't it? You forget a bit of all that music, don't you? Because you've
Yeah.
moved on, you know.
Yeah.
But like Mitch saying, the downfall for everybody was the DJs.
Yeah.
They were playing the
But
music which was in straight away.
It kind of, I suppose it didn't replace it. It just moved sideways and let something else come in from
but
underneath.
we did the same at the casino.
Yeah.
When it was the end, they had the dance band on.
Yeah.
And you had a guest group,
Yeah, that's right.
and then they had 2 guest groups,
Then
and then the dance band disappeared.
Yeah.
And then they had 2 groups and a disco,
Yeah.
and then 1 group and a disco, and then just a disco.
Yeah. That's how it all evolved. Yeah.
But then it changed again, Bill, didn't it? But like when you started playing with the Shims and Tinfoil,
Yeah.
where you went on to like harmony stuff.
Yeah.
You were a cabaret band.
Kind of. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were still doing, and we didn't play in labour clubs, it was youth clubs,
No.
dance halls, wasn't
That's
it?
right. It was still. Yeah.
And you, I
Very
think
much
you
so.
were one of the first bands actually to do the harmony stuff, weren't you? Beach Boys. And
Well, yeah, we just used to copy a band from Blackburn, and what were they called? That harmony band from Blackburn, and the Weather,
Oh, yeah.
They were unbelievable. weren't they?
Summers and
Yeah.
Weather,
Yeah, they were
and
good.
we saw them, and we went home and burned our amplifiers and drum kits. They were just sensational, weren't they?
Yeah.
They did 5 voices in harmony live.
They were fantastic.
Anyway, but that we're kind of moving away from what we're really talking about. That's the Room at the Top.
at the Top.
And if you bear with me, I'll just read out what I've downloaded. A long time ago I downloaded it, about a year ago, intending to do this particular night about Room at the Top. And I've invited certain people to come in, and they found it difficult to get in. So one thing or another, and we're here doing it on their behalf, really. Now then, the Room at the Top was a little loft dwelling, as if you like, in Hope Street in Wigan.
Above Savoy Chippy.
Yeah, above the Savoy Chippy. Morrison's supermarket turned up one day underneath.
Whelan's.
Whelan's
yeah.
supermarket was there, and it also overlooked the Market Square and the Wigan bus station.
That's right.
And at the other end of the block was a pub. What was that called?
Oh, we used to win it.
Old Hall? No,
No.
not the Old Hall.
Not the park.
Park.
The park, yeah.
The Park pub was
Yeah.
at the other end of the block.
Colin Cook
Used
had
to go in
that.
there, yeah.
Yeah, now then. So we all used to nip in the park,
That's right.
get tanked, then go up to the room at the top. And first of all, we had to get past the doorman.
Well, we had to carry our equipment up. That was the hardest part.
I know. And the owner of the room at the top was a man called Ken Fluff Baldwin,
Yes.
and he was a wrestler. And boy, oh boy, did he throw that weight around. Oh, he looked enormous to me. And he called this club Pseudo Bohemian Coffee House. that's rich, isn't it? The room at the top.
Yeah, for Wigan.
There was a dark dungeon at the top of a blinking 3-story.
No.
And do you remember the lighting was
Yeah.
those fluorescent purple, with all your underwear, well, not the
That's
girls'
right.
underwear came through, and all the bits on your coat you're trying to get them off.
That's right.
As soon as you
And
went
if
in.
the girls wore a white bra under a dark
Oh.
top, it was
Yeah.
like, whoa, turn your head away, turn your head away.
Which we all did, didn't we?
Yeah, ultraviolet was the light.
That's it.
That
Yeah.
was a culprit. Where did it ever go, ultraviolet? I'd still like to introduce that. Shall I bring it into Lanky Cats?
That'd be a good idea,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Right, and then of course it was advertised in the local press as a pseudo bohemian coffee house, and what that had got to do with a coffee house, I don't know, but they couldn't serve alcohol. That's the
Yeah.
thing, because we're all too young anyway. None of us are 18. We're all 15, 16, 14, 15, 16-year-olds. And it was crisp and coke, really, wasn't it? That was the order of the day. And no, then it was formerly Moss School of Dancing, and it was called the Ormrods Buildings. It was taken over by Ken in 1963. Then living in Standish, Ken would pay his taxi driver in sixpences after closing up each night. And in other words, the door takings were mainly in sixpences. I don't know how much it was to get in. Must have been about sixpence
I
then.
never paid because we always played there.
Yeah, we always played because we had to get our gear out of the van on the pavement, straight on the pavement, and then up them stairs.
Box AC30 up there.
Yeah,
Wow, was ever.
I know, and it was a killer, wasn't it? Them stairs.
About 1 and 6.
And the dressing room was very small. I was trying to get in the dressing room, trying to get ready. And
Is that right? I can't remember. The Shims only played there about 2 or 3 times. They did because we were a pop group.
Yeah.
What the hell were we doing up there playing where they wanted rhythm and blues and soul
Yeah.
and things like that? So, and wow, we ever
it was a
played
mixture though. It wasn't all rhythm and blues.
Yeah,
There were lots of people there just for a night out, really.
Yeah, yeah. And I just remember the buzz of the place. The 2 rooms had band stages and were lit only by ultraviolet tubes, which is what we've just said, which were totally brand new to me and very science fiction, cutting edge and incredibly fascinating. The lights were seemingly placed everywhere throughout each room, and the action from it on the eyes was totally weird, but not uncomfortable. And indeed, it was great fun. The effects of these now known to the experienced clubber, but back then they would show up any clothing which was white as a dazzling purple radiant glow. Much to the distress, though, of innocent newcomers who happened to be wearing white underwear beneath thin cotton tops. But the huge delight of the young men stood ogling there. That is great, this. Seated behind a shaky fold-up table at pavement level. Now, I've been challenged on this, whether he was
Pavement
at
level?
pavement level. I thought he was.
No.
You used to go up a flight of stairs, then pay.
Ah, right.
There's a
Well,
booth.
that's
I don't
putting me
remember
wrong.
about the pavements.
Anyway, this former, this Ken Baldwin, the owner and a former professional wrestler, his name was Tony Zane,
Right.
Zane, and you wouldn't like to cross him. That's quite simple as that.
No.
He would take your entrance money and sharply dab a blob of red ink, or was it blue, on the back of your hand to indicate that you paid up, and it would act out as a pass out later. So that's some of the memories from
That's right.
from the era. From my memory, and again it's been challenged, is that we went up that first flight of stairs to the left on the landing, and that was the tiny booth where
Yeah.
you got your hand stamped.
Yeah.
Ken was not an insignificant bulk. He often blocked the path to the booth, however, and I can remember the essential ordeal of squeezing past him. I can still see his brown ribbed sweater at very close quarters. In the room up to the left, a snack bar, table football, and a pool table, ? And the cloakroom. I don't remember a band stage or anyone playing in there. Anyway, that was one of the two rooms. I do remember working behind the cloakroom with my friend Betty. I'll tell you who this is, who's writing this. This is somebody called Marilyn Taylor, who you might remember, and she sent this in. She says she remembers working behind the cloakroom with my friend Betty for the first of the all-nighters. Nobody had ever heard of an all-nighter before, the room at the top.
Yeah.
No.
I
That
certainly
was
haven't.
early. What year was that then?
And I can't
She's
remember.
saying.
I can't
I
remember.
remember that all-nighter.
All-nighters. It was an endless procession of people asking if they could have their Parker or their airline BOAC bag back. Betty and I looked despairingly into a tiny space heaving with Parkers and airline bags. So these were your mods, weren't they? Frequenting the place. And they all looked alike and they all looked the same. And that's not funny when it's 5 a.m. in the morning. As the club closed, we all moved on to Wigan Baths in the morning. And then Mains Park Cafe in the afternoon. Now I'm taking it that was Saturday night, and it was always Mains Park
Yeah.
Cafe in the Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon. And it was packed out with people like us, and the jukebox would be playing the music of the day, wouldn't it? Yeah. That became a familiar routine in later days with the casino all-nighters, but the Room and Bluesville in Scholes were way ahead of the game.
Bluesville, yeah. That's all Long John Baldry then.
Yeah, I never went there. So many band memories simulated by this particular site, which was of course Lanky Beat webpage. The Trolls, of course, the Wheels, Lincoln Bond, little Jimmy Birchall as lead singer. Sadly, he committed suicide before the 1960s were over. Too many to mention. Congratulations on Lanky Beat. Really enjoying it. So,
Good.
very nice of Marilyn to tell us all that.
Yeah.
Where does she live?
I don't know. I got that off Wigan World.
Oh, is she local? Is she going?
She just wrote that.
Does she go in like a Cats at all?
I don't know. I don't know. But that name, Marilyn Taylor, does ring a kind of a bell. And I wonder, Marilyn Taylor, if we could ever get a message to you to get in touch and we can have a further chat about
Fetch
it.
her in for an interview.
You could certainly come in here and we'd have a great chat about it. But so if anybody knows Marilyn Taylor of Wigan, I presume, please let her know that I'm looking for her and to get in touch with me at bill@lankybeat.co.uk. I've said that wrong already because there is no Lanky Beat because the websites have been hacked.
So I believe.
Saying that, all my website have been hacked. So the website and the email address is bill@lankycats.co.uk. And we've had a terrible time with the hacking, but
So.
yeah. So we're kind of most of that material on Lanky Beat has disappeared now. Yeah.
Wow.
But I've got it all on my hard drive.
Yeah,
Got
so
all the
you can
stuff
put it
on.
all back.
So I can bring it back, but
Thank
it took me
goodness
10
for that.
years to put that together.
Can we remember when it shut? Does anybody know?
Now
when
then,
it
yeah,
actually
that's an
shut?
interesting one.
He moved away. I know that he moved somewhere down south, I believe.
Who did?
Ken.
Ken.
But then he came back and opened a furniture shop,
Right.
not too far from the.
He came back and opened a furniture shop.
Yeah, I remember him in a furniture shop, and then he passed away not long after that.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. So, well, there's always going to be a sad story in these things, but I've really enjoyed chatting about that.
Yeah.
Got some great.
That was the
things
start
about
of
it.
everything, really, though, Bill. Because
It
when we
was.
played, other
It
clubs
was.
started opening up,
It
and then
was.
like the Emperor Casino decided, oh, we'll have
Yeah.
downstairs the beachcomber,
Well, the
and
first
then we'll
time,
have upstairs.
the first time I heard about any clubs was the Cavern, and I heard it from one of my mate, Dennis Berry, one of my mates. He had a next door neighbour called Colin. Was it Colin? Something like that. And Colin used to go down to the Cavern Club and bring these tales back about these bands. There was nothing going on in Wigan at the time that
No,
I knew about.
there wasn't.
Except we used to go up to Westward Labour Club on a Tuesday night and watch a band called the Beat Boys. Well, it was all happening,
Yeah.
but we just didn't know about it. And I think I was 14 at the time. And
Well, as you know, my family come from Liverpool,
yeah,
so we used to go and visit them every weekend. And
Yeah.
my cousins were a little bit older than me,
yeah,
so they all went to the Cavern,
yeah,
and they came back and they used to tell me the stories. We've been to the Cavern. Some friends of ours have got a group together. What are they called? The Beagles. And my auntie used to say the Beagles were an awful
that's
name.
an awful name.
What an
yeah.
awful name, like
Yeah.
crawling. She
Yeah.
says, no, they're not crawling. It's the Beagles.
Yeah,
And she says a friend of mine, John Lennon, as if he was. Said there's all sorts of groups going on,
yeah, yeah,
and that was at the very beginning of it.
fantastic.
But you know that Wigan was famous for more bands coming out of Wigan, apart from Liverpool, obviously,
I
than
think-
any other place.
I think so. For proportionally,
Yeah, yeah.
if you give them the size of Wigan, and then the number
Yeah.
of bands coming out was
Very,
incredible.
very much so.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, just take a short break there and let you have a listen to this before we come back and have a bit of a chat about what John and John are up to. Explain it.
Wrightington Hospital
Yes.
Radio.
The latest hits and the greatest memories on Hospital Radio.
Ah, well, we're back with John and John. Let's see if we can get anything here now. No.
It's the highway that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace. No doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I'm a believer if I try. You love me. I could really move. Now do you love me? Well, I'm in the groove. Well, do you love me? Do you It's retro. Good night, God bless.
Excellent, excellent.
That was just an
excellent.
outside show that we did. And we just my wife recorded it on a little camera. And it was a show for. Well, you explain it, John.
Yeah, my little grandson's got muscular dystrophy, as in, you know, joining Jack. How
Yes,
he did.
yeah.
He's got MD.
Right.
So every year we do a festival, and we raised £63,000 in 2 days.
Ouch.
Because
I'm gobsmacked.
We had a field, and
Yeah.
we had all the tents laid out.
Yeah.
And there's about 600 people stopped overnight in these tents.
Fantastic.
It was, and we do it every year. We did it.
So it's an annual thing, and it's you know.
Yeah, we did it with Tony Christie.
Did you?
And he rolled up. Listen to this. This is great. You'll appreciate this. He rolls up in his helicopter. We're in a works van.
Yeah.
He rolls up in his helicopter with 2 girl singers and his 5-piece band.
Yeah.
Does 9 songs, and I must say, he's not lost it.
Ah.
What a nice fellow, wasn't he, John?
Very nice.
Right.
We had our pictures taken, we had a chat with him, and I said, do you remember Goose Green? Because that was the night he walked off, because they were queuing up for bingo tickets. But that's,
Yeah, I know.
you know, so,
They did. They used to get up, didn't they?
oh, they still do, John. Bill.
You know, whatever's going on, bingo has to come first,
Yeah.
and they'll queue up for bingo
I know,
tickets,
it's a sad
while the
thing.
artist is trying to perform on stage.
Yeah.
And it's so distracting,
It's disheartening.
and it's you know, it's rude, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
Downright
never do it.
rude.
Well, we played in Stoke 2 weeks ago, and that exact same thing happened in
Did
the
it?
first spot. Everybody walked up and started queuing
So he
for
said,
bingo
I'm not
tickets.
playing there again.
Either that or food.
Yes.
Don't open buffet.
Yeah.
Well,
Woof.
that band's on, and everybody disappears. And I've had that as well.
Yeah.
Buffet's ready. Yeah, and everybody dives
I
off.
know.
And you know.
It's not like it used to be, Bill.
No.
No, that's a
It's-
sad thing.
I know we're getting older, but it isn't. And the 60s, 70s and 80s will never come back.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
That was the problem we've had because we worked on the Everly Brothers show. We
Yeah.
worked really hard on that.
You did. I
And
remember
the
that.
guitars and everything, and we just can't get any work for it. And
They
then when
just
you
don't
when you
want to.
speak to people, people say, "What? Well, it's great, the Everlys."
Yeah.
But nobody's booking the Everly
Nobody
Brothers.
wants to buy it.
No.
No.
Nobody wants to pay
No
for
agent.
it.
No
No.
agents are interested.
There are a couple of acts going being booked out for summer seasons and stuff like that, but very, very few.
What kind of material are they playing?
That's the Everly Brothers
Just
show.
Everly's.
You have the brother show,
Well, there's only 3, I think.
and
Is it
you
2 or
can't
3?
get your foot in the door.
You can't get one booking.
No, can't
The
get any
agents have
bookings.
said nobody wants it.
Yeah.
And yet the Everly Brothers, they were the nucleus of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
The Beatles, that's started the
Everything,
Beatles.
yeah.
Now,
not
if Don
everybody.
Everly dies, perhaps it'll be a resurgence. I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But
Yeah.
we don't do it now.
Yeah.
We just don't do it.
You don't do that.
Unless
no.
we get asked, but it's got to be.
No,
Yeah.
we're in Birmingham, aren't we?
So generally, your material is kind of what you could call middle of the road.
Yes.
Poppy, and it's
Eagles,
popular.
stuff like the
Yeah.
Eagles
Mm.
and Travelling
Yeah.
Wilburys.
Classic.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do, but we've only started doing that in the last 6-9 months.
Yeah.
We've just changed over completely,
Right.
gradually.
Yeah.
So we have an Everly Brothers show an hour, and then we've got two more shows.
Yeah.
We've got
Well, that's great versatility because that can change depending on your audience, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose on the night you might try something out and you think, hang on, we'll just
Yeah,
do it
because
that way or do it this
this
way.
agent from Birmingham rang up. He wanted the Everly Brothers,
Right.
so we went down to this big club in Birmingham, Yardley, massive club. People coming in like the old days, suit and tie on, the wife.
Yeah.
All and they're paying how much was it to get in? Was it £5 or £10?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
yeah.
food on, a girl singer and us.
And it was full. When we got
Packed.
there, full at 7
Absolutely
o'clock.
full at 7 o'clock.
And this was a social club.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that what you've got to do to fill your club now? Did they they're paying £10 to go in a
Was
social
it
club?
£10 to go in?
Or £5?
It was
Even
at 5 or 10.
But when I said to him, he said, we're not bothered about paying that money. If it's a good night and we know all our friends are here, the beer's quite cheap, there's food on, and
Yeah.
we're with all our friends, we don't mind paying.
2 acts
night.
on. There was a girl singer on who was quite good.
Now,
wasn't she?
would,
Yeah.
would the clubs up here, if they put that money in the door,
I've often thought of trying something at the Unity Club that might work on a Saturday night, but I can't see people paying a £5 to
No.
go in.
not,
I can't.
Not
I'm
right,
asking
not
for a
if-
£5, and I think I'm
Bill,
just.
asking him for £2
Yeah.
is a struggle, isn't it?
I know. Well, that's why we leave our Lanky Cats have mission at
Yeah.
£1.
Yeah, which is
Not
good,
touching
good
it.
value.
That's never going to be touched.
No.
And we're making good money for our charities, and we've equipped that stage, as you know.
You're doing a great job, honestly.
Thank you for that. But we've no intention of increasing it.
No.
And whether we pull in 50 quid or 500 quid on a night doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Whatever, and that'll go to the charities eventually. And if it goes on the stage, and God forbid if Lanky Cats ever finishes, the equipment will get sold, and that money will be given to charities. So it's a win-win for the charities.
I'm really impressed with what you've done, Bill, because the way that you've got the best equipment, and you have Engel amps, Fender amps,
Yeah.
PA system, drums and everything, the way you've recirculated the money into that.
Yeah.
Because people that want to come to your place and say, bloody hell, you want to see the back line, Engel amps,
Yeah.
Fender amps, drums. You've done the right thing.
Nobody needs to fetch any PA.
But you're always going to get
equipment.
some that's going to say, well, what do they want all those amps for? We've spoken about this before, haven't we?
We have. We have. We've just been heavily criticised by buying a Ludwig drum kit.
But that's an investment.
I mean, it's an investment. Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
It's a 60s thing.
What was wrong with other one? And,
Falling to pieces.
you're spending all that money on a drum kit. What about our charities? And I said, look, it doesn't matter, because that drum kit will hold its value, if not increase.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time, Lancats won't last forever, then it will get sold. And for one, I'll buy it. That's just me.
You like a Ludwig, don't
I,
you?
oh,
Yeah, true.
bow and pray, and and that's it. Once that's sold, the money goes to charities, so that they're going to win. I really
course they
want to
are.
win.
And
Well-
the time you've got the equipment, it's a pleasure for musicians to come and use it.
Yeah,
As soon as they come in and see a Ludwig kit, they say, wow, Ludwig, that's
I know,
great.
I know.
When I
That's
walked
it.
in,
The wow. That's
Yeah.
what we want.
Wow.
And we said this about 3 years ago. We want musicians to come in and have a thoroughly good time and have wows on the
Yeah.
equipment.
And you've got
Dave Cavey has done a lot of that.
Oh, he's good, Dave.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know of such a thing called an Engel amp. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But Dave Cavey come in and said, this is high-end stuff. High-end. The most I've ever heard is Vox amps and PV amps and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I've never heard of an Engel amp. And then that bass amp is just, well, in other words, it's professional level
And
stuff, isn't it?
The new desk you bought,
Yeah, that's
it's
made a massive
transformed
difference.
the sound.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds,
It's transformed it.
That was 2,000 quid's worth of a desk, and we got it for 500.
wow. So you can't lose.
See, and that's what we're doing. We're not throwing money at this. We're being very careful. And at £500 for a desk seems ludicrous when you're trying to raise money for charities.
It's a bargain.
But it's a bargain at 500 because it's worth 2,000. And then, of course, we'll come one day, we might sell it, and we'll probably get more than 500
Of
for
course
it.
you will. So it's a
Yeah.
it's a win-win situation.
It is.
Dave was playing at the White Lion on Saturday, and we're playing there this Saturday coming.
Ozzy,
We're-
with his duo.
Yeah, we're there on
Oh, give him
Saturday.
a plug. What's his name of his duo?
No, our duo.
Oh, your duo.
we're-
Yeah, but what's Dave's duo?
Acoustic
Acoustic Duke.
Jukebox.
Yeah,
Acoustic jukebox.
D-U-K-E.
Well done, Dave. You're a great couple of lads doing your stuff.
Oh, they
I
were
like the way
excellent.
you-
They were
yeah,
excellent.
yeah, they were
And
good.
you're doing the same. This is Sounds Retro,
Yes.
folks.
White
Which-
Lion.
The two Johns playing the White
White
Lion.
Lion.
Which is the White Lion?
Mossy Lee Road,
Mossy Lou
next
Road.
to St Joseph's Primary School.
Right, and that's in Shevington.
No,
Where?
Wrightington.
Right.
See, Wrightington. For those people coming maybe up the motorway and looking for these
Junction
places.
27, just round the corner.
Junction 27.
And we're
the
on
White
from
Lion,
9
Wrightington.
p.m.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
onwards.
You'll be able to see the wonderful Sounds Retro.
Your
Correct.
friend by your bedside.
Correct.
Hospital Radio. The latest hits and the greatest memories on Hospital Radio.
That's it. So we've got about the last 10 minutes now to go, and we've got loads to chat about. Now then, you came in here, was it about 12 months ago?
Something like that will be, yeah.
Yeah, and we had the unfortunate business of not being able to record the show that
That's
night.
right, yeah.
And I never wanted to kind of try and repeat because I can't remember what we talked about.
We talked about early days, what we all started
We talked
off
about
with
the
and
early
going
days.
through
So
all the-
I'd like to go back into your early days, and you know, and bring some of that.
I've got
forward.
some
'Cause What
recorded.
were you doing? You know, yeah,
I was
you
with
were
Kenny.
with Ravon, didn't you?
Yeah, after the
But
room at the top and all that.
Before that, what were you doing before Ravon?
Before that was a subject,
Yeah,
and then after that we changed the name from the subject to Strawberry Fur.
that's right.
And Strawberry Fur was on the first bands to have the dicky bows and suits and that. And then you had them as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Worked for William Leyland.
yeah, yeah. Didn't
So-
everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you had your medical, John?
Oh dear, dear, dear. And what about you, John Wacky? I mean, what?
Well, you know, I mean, we've known each other
But
for...
I want you to tell our folks, listeners tonight.
The first thing when I got interested in guitars was a friend of mine. His mum bought him a a Watkins Rapier guitar,
Oh,
and he lent it me for a week, and I just kept playing this Apache by the Shadows over and
Oh,
over
yeah,
again. Couldn't
yeah.
play it.
Yeah.
I used to stand in front of the mirror, just pretending to play it like I do now, really. And but then I got friendly with Bill and the group called
The Shims.
With the Shims at the
there were
time.
shims at the time.
And I
yeah.
used to be the #1 hanger-on. I used to go around with them. Used to help with the equipment. I even used to iron the pants. They all used to wear
What?
cord pants and cord
I don't
shirts. Do you
believe
remember,
this,
Bill?
Yep.
Desert boots.
Desert boots, short.
He was ironing your pants.
Were we mods? Yeah, we must have been mods. We weren't.
I know we
Yeah.
liked a pint.
I know.
And
We certainly did.
And then after that, Bill Halliwell got in touch with me. You know Bill.
Yep.
And his band was the guitarist was packing in, so I really blagged it really.
Yeah.
And then I joined them. I was with them, Blue Rust for years.
Yeah.
And then Malt Green, I was with Malt Green with
Oh, you were with Orb as well.
Orb, yeah.
Sadly, Orb's
Yeah,
not with us
no.
anymore.
With them, and then a few years back, about 4 years back.
what was that band called?
Do you know? I guess
Shoestring.
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 Then I was in a duo with Orb, mates.
You were mates.
And then I was ill for a bit. I was in hospital, and this fella started coming and seeing me. He used to bring me grapes and eat them all at the side of the bed.
I always saved him one.
But and when I came out, I was a bit depressed, and I always said I would never do it at anything else again. And John says, "Come on, let's start a duo." So
Yeah.
that we started it, and we've still doing it.
Well, you made one of the best moves of your life. I think you're getting you two together.
Oh, no, I agree with you, definitely. He's a pain in the ass at times, but I love him.
We're not supposed to say arse on.
Oh, I beg your pardon, I apologise. He's a pain in the bottom, but he's he's a good mate.
We'll apologise.
We never fall out, do we, John?
No.
We have heated discussions.
Yes, very
Yeah.
heated.
But
Yeah.
we never ever fall out, and it's.
But they can be very healthy, and get.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Get everything.
Please,
out,
yeah.
Yeah,
And you get things sorted that way,
yeah.
rather than letting things lie and the elephant in the room and all that.
We've all been there, haven't we, Bill?
Aye. You know, well, it's the whole
Yeah.
the wonderful world of being in a band with other people, and
We just enjoy doing it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if we get paid, it's a bonus.
yeah, yeah,
And if we don't, we don't. If
And-
we make money for charity, that's even better.
yeah, yeah. Now then, tell us about this charity that you support, and with your dear wife.
Oh, Carolyn's cancer research.
Yes,
Yeah, well, Carolyn, my wife, had cancer. She's had cancer twice.
right.
And then she decided to start doing something about it.
Yeah,
So she started a little coffee morning up.
yeah,
And then it progressed from the coffee morning
yeah.
to doing sing-along hot pot suppers.
Fantastic.
And then big gigs. And then John's involved with it now, so we always do the big gig and sing-along
Yeah.
hot pot suppers. And
And you're raising a lot of money as well, aren't you?
104,000 so far.
That's another
Fantastic,
wow.
isn't it?
104,000. Who'd have
And
thought
how long
that?
you've been doing this?
Probably 5 or 6 years.
You've done
Yeah.
very, very well. Well done. Yeah, fantastic.
People are so generous, aren't they, John?
And the cakes are fantastic, Bill. She makes wonderful cakes.
Oh,
Oh,
doesn't she?
Carolyn's cakes.
Oh, Carolyn's
yeah.
cakes.
Famous, are they?
Very famous.
Oh, right. Yeah, I look forward to getting another one of them.
You must come one Friday morning.
Yeah, it's a,
Yeah.
it's a week this Friday is our
Right.
Christmas one.
Yeah,
So down Mossy Lee Road again,
yeah.
from 10 o'clock till 1.
Yeah.
We'll have a keyboard player playing all Christmas carols and a sing along.
Great stuff. And is anybody invited, or
Yep.
just a few? Anybody
Anybody.
can come. Well, tell us more about it, and then you can encourage people who's
Right.
listening tonight.
One of the main reasons, Rob, because Carolyn works for the parish council. As you know, the post office is closed and everything.
Yeah,
People weren't getting together,
yeah,
so people would never see each other. When they used to go for the pension, they'd have a chat. And
they do. They would. Yeah.
So she started off the coffee morning, and we had, I think, 6 or 7 people who just came in and said, hello, hello.
Yeah.
And then it built up, and now it's so noisy. When you go in, it's buzzing with people just talking to
Yeah.
each other and saying, what are you doing on Thursday? What are you doing? Are you going to such a place? Are you doing this? And then if somebody's ill, where's such a body? Oh, she's not so well. Well, we'll call with it some cakes and see.
Fantastic.
And it's brought the community back together
It's
in
community
Washington.
social gathering.
Yeah.
And the focus used to be on a post office, which of course that's the thing that it unconsciously did.
It did.
And then they've removed it, and you remove that, the beating heart of that, don't
True.
you? You remove it. It's a function of the community, isn't it? That's been removed.
Definitely, yeah.
And so you spotted that and got this thing going.
Yeah,
and,
Carolyn thought, well, let's
and
do
raising
it.
a shed full of money in the process.
Which is great, yeah.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff.
And you feel better when you do it, you know what I
Of course you
mean?
do. Of course you do.
I mean, when you was young, you never thought about cancer or anything like that.
No.
In fact, nobody ever spoke about it, Bill, when we were kids. They just said, oh, she's got the big C.
Yeah,
But
and
now it's in the open.
it's
and
in your face now, isn't it? But back then, you got me thinking now. Back then, nobody ever didn't seem to get cancer. Certainly wasn't talked about. But you might have been ill, but you wouldn't know, or you
No.
wouldn't advertise it being cancer.
No.
It was never spoken about.
No,
It's a
it
strange
wasn't.
thing.
You're right,
Oh, it's no. Well,
Well, now Caroline goes to schools
Yeah.
and talks to kids at school,
does she?
and they raise money at the school,
Yeah.
which is good because their auntie passed away or somebody in the family.
Is there any particular cancer charity that you focus on?